Miss Hunt.
Hey, Janiyah. Hey. Okay, you guys will mute your microphone for me. I appreciate it. And I need to do extended screen here. Okay. Hey, guys. All right, so this is Ms. Hunt. This is September the 1st, and this is AP Biology. Okay, so I've got kids on my virtual meet and with you guys. We're just gonna do the same thing. It's being recorded, so if you guys had any problems where you all got sick, then you could be able to watch these recorded lessons, and hopefully it'll all work out, okay? All right, the first thing we're gonna do is log into the Google Classroom. So, guys, I'm gonna go on presentation mode. I can get this over here. Okay. Hello, go ahead and mute your microphones.
What are you doing sitting down there?
Uh-huh. Thank you. Okay. Okay, do you guys, are you in my Google Classroom already?
Yeah.
No? Omar needs to. All right, so I'm gonna, right here. All right, this is for 7th period. If any of you guys are not in 7th period, it's gonna be in 6th period. Let me know if you don't have the code. Anybody need 6th period code? Anybody need 6th period code? Okay. All right. Is that somebody you got in here? Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Good deal. Okay. The first thing on the Google Classroom, I have on the stream side, I've got announcements that are going to be coming through. Okay. I'm going to take this off because I'm distance apart. All the announcements that I have are going to come up here. So I met a lot of kids on Sunday to drop off textbooks. If you all have not got a textbook, if you want to come today at 4, I'm here today at 4 to get your textbook and lab supplies. I think some of you guys left without lab supplies. My online kids get a package of lab supplies, okay? I think I had 1 or 2 of you who have not got that. You guys can come by at 4 today, or I can do 4 o'clock tomorrow and be able to pick that up. You guys will do stuff in the room, so you don't have to take anything home, okay? Unless you really want to, and then I'll give you some, okay? Sound pretty good? Yeah. All right. Let me go back over here. Oh, no, please do not do that to me. Okay. All right, we're going to go into classwork. On the classwork side is going to be all the work we're actually going to get done. And you guys are going to see the first things are the syllabus and important information. Let's click into the syllabus real quick and I'll just run through that. Okay. I want to remind you guys that this counts as a college credit class. You have to pass the AP exam in order to get that college credit, but it is set up very much like a college credit class. Syllabus is up here, and I've got by the College Board an outline of our curriculum. I've taught AP Environmental for 5 years, okay? AP Environmental, the scores are very different. They have a notoriously low passing rate for AP Environmental. All right, AP Environmental, last year's average was a 2.5. My average was a 2.5. All right, AP Bio is not. AP Bio is much higher. Kids tend to do much better with AP Bio, and it's mostly because everything is laid out really clear. teach this. Okay. Do this lab. Okay. Do this formula. Okay. It's all very clear in what the expectations are. All right, so I've got your outline here. All right, I have our textbook. We have brand new textbooks. I'll be giving you guys a textbook. If you guys have not got a textbook, you need to come by and pick up a textbook. Our class codes are on this paper so you guys can see. So if you all are at home and you do not have it, here's the 6th period code and then the 7th period code. Our remind groups, I'm going to give that to you in 2 different ways, but these are the links for the remind groups. You guys will always pick Tuesday for your remind group, and all virtual kids will do the virtual one. What I want to do is just remind you something is due, okay? Or if we decide to go outside, I want to remind you on Monday night to dress to go outside for Tuesday, okay? I won't blow up your phones with like silly memes or stuff like that, right? Also, it works good for you guys to be able to email me or text me and ask me questions. So same thing for you guys to text me and ask me questions. All right, the expectations are on here. Okay. Cell phones, I don't usually have a problem with cell phones. Most of my kids have had me over and over. I don't want you distracted by your cell phone, but if you have an emergency and you need to have it out, just let me know, okay? All right, the required material. They keep going back and forth on stuff. In AP Environmental, you were supposed to keep a 3-ring binder of all the things that you did in case your college asked for it for a lab credit. AP Bio is widely accepted, so there really isn't a need to keep up with stuff. Also, I'm not going to give you very much. Everything's going to be on the classroom. So what I would do is have a digital folder for AP Bio on your Google Drive that you're putting everything in, okay? That'll also help you stay organized and prep for our exam. Pencils, Ticonderoga pencils are the best. Notebook paper, a calculator. You get to use a calculator on the AP exam. Any 4-function scientific or graphing calculator will be allowed. So you can be able to go on to the College Board and make sure your calculator is allowed. But I would just use that. And of course, donating some extra supplies if you feel like it. To be successful, we have to read. We're going to read a lot. And do not procrastinate. Don't put off what could be done today. Okay, stay ahead as much as possible. Your all's work is due next Tuesday. So anything I assign you on Tuesday is due Tuesday. Okay, even if we have no school. So like my Monday kids, we have no school next Monday. It's Labor Day. Monday kids will still go through Monday's work and it'll still be due the following Monday, okay? So I know that stinks. If they close school or something happens, you all still have to get the work done through that module, okay? We're already 3 weeks behind, so we have no time to waste, all right? And all virtual kids will follow whatever class you're in. You'll follow that same schedule. Okay. Your grading scale is on here, homework and quizzes and our labs. All of our labs will come with a lab report this year, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I also gave our Southeast curriculum map. Like I made this myself, looking at our textbook so that you guys were aware of what everything was going to happen. This is the chemistry of life that we're doing first unit. It's 2 weeks long, this week and next week. It's 8 to 11% of our grade. I put the date on there. The chapters, we have 4 chapters. We're going to do 2 this week, and we're going to do 2 next week. And our lab is going to be one of our formal labs, the animal behavior lab. Okay? Questions? Good so far? Okay. All right. The first day of school checklist, I'm going to pull this up on another one, but I just wanted you to know that was there also We're going to open up another document for this. All right, I'm going to exit there. I'm going to go to important information. All right, under important information, first of all, I have a letter for my virtual kids, which is all of you all. All right, in here, the reason why you guys care is if you get sick, if you get a stomach bug and you can't come to school, if you are quarantined for COVID and you can't come to school, then you guys will log on just like they're doing and do the Google Meet. Okay? And I'll teach it to one person, or I'll teach it to two. There's not many of you in here. Hopefully that won't happen and we can continue face-to-face, but if you are sick, you can either log in and watch it, or this is being recorded. So you can watch this later and make sure you know what we did in class. Okay? We will always use the code Hunt SHS to join. That's all you have to remember. So anytime I do a Google Meet, it's Hunt SHS. Also, I'll do a Google Meet Fridays at 10:30 in case you all have any questions. You can be able to Google Meet me there, and we'll talk about anything you have questions about. Okay. Same thing for you guys, 10:30 on Friday in case you have any questions. We'll do a Google Meet. I've got directions on how to do a Google Meet up here that I made. So in case you don't know how to do Google Meets or you're, confused by it, hopefully that'll help you be able to go through all the directions. Okay, let's go through the first day of school click list. All right, hopefully everybody is in the Google Classroom. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we have a Google form to fill out in Module 1. There is a textbook form to fill out, and they're signing up for Remind. They're signing up for the Pearson Company, and I have this all on a piece of paper too. You guys can go ahead and get started on looking through this and signing up for everything. Textbooks are here. You'll have to come get a textbook. Okay. All right. Do you all have a textbook? You got yours. Omar? No? All right. Say what? Okay. If you two would come up here and I'll give you your number. If you want to keep going through and joining the Pearson, have you done all that? Yeah. Okay. You do that when I give you the paper. All right. 4637. The last 4 digits of your book over there. Carla. 642. The last 4 digits of your book. I'm gonna look on the white stick. Right here. 4613. So yours will probably be down here. All right, while they're getting on all that, come back over here and stop sharing. Okay. Are there any questions that you guys have right now? You can either ask me or you can type in the chat box and be able to ask any questions that you have. Okay.
Good. I'm doing good.
Thanks, Janaya. Have you guys had any problems signing up for the Pearson textbook or any of the other things that I've got on there?
No.
No? Okay, good. Okay. Hey, do me a favor. On the chat box, say your name is here, just so I have a record of it, so I don't have to write it down. So just say, Janaya's here, There you go. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Okay, I will give you guys some more time to get all these things done, but I'm gonna keep going with the rest of the class, okay? And like I said, I'll give you guys time to get everything done, all right? On the Google Classroom, I've got it laid out so that every module is what you're working on that week. So hopefully it helps you guys focus into what needs to happen within that 1 week period, okay? I put on here just today, complete the 7 activities on the Pearson website. I don't want you to forget about the Pearson website. I've got some questions on there that go right with the textbook and some little reading strategies and assessments. When it says 7, there's actually 4, and there's reading things on there just to really read the chapter. So that's all on there, but I wanted you guys to remember that that was due too, okay? The student information form, I think is due by Friday, and that just says, give me information about you. Who am I calling? How am I contacting them, okay? The textbook information, can you guys fill that out right now? Okay, Omar, can you fill that out for me? And you'll put the white number that I gave you, the whole number for the textbook information. Okay. All right, the first day of school stuff is on here, and I'll give you guys more time to go through that, but at least get the textbook one done for me. And I'm going to go through the introduction real quick. Okay. All right, I know I've had you guys before. I've had you just last year, and I know I've had almost all of you guys, but there's still one of you who is still new to me. So I want to make sure you guys have like an idea about who I am and a little bit about science in general. This is my 17th year teaching, so you're in good hands. This is the 17th year I've said, welcome to science, first day of school. And this year I get to do it twice. I have 2 boys, Andrew and Will, who I'll refer to a lot and talk a lot about. Andrew is in 7th grade at Eastbrook, and Will is at Eastside Elementary. Any of you guys go to Eastbrook? Okay. No? Okay. All right. I love being outside. I love to travel. This summer, I got to knock off 3 national parks. So I did, actually 4, I'm sorry, 4 national parks. We did Arches National Park, we did Canyonlands, we did Rocky Mountain National Park, and the Great Sand Dunes National Park. And they were amazing. So that's one of the things we've kind of been working through over a couple of years of going to those national parks. They're outdoors, we can space out, it's pretty good. That's at Canyonlands, Mesa Verde National Arch. So it's a beautiful place. I have my bachelor's degree in biology, so you all are like in my element. I loved AP Environmental. I love talking about the environment and about impacts that humans have done, but this is like my soup. This is where I'm good at, okay? So I will lead you through biology and memorizing all the crazy tiny details and getting you through it. And hopefully you guys will do really well in that AP exam and get college credit. For a lot of you, general biology is the only science you'll ever have in college, and you'll be done. But for some of you, science is probably just the beginning, okay? And you'll have lots and lots of science classes. This is just one of them. I will tell you, your general biology class in college is the most frustrating because it's a weeding out process. You'll have some kids in there who woke up at 3 a.m., rolled out of bed, couldn't care less about the world, and they showed up. And they're frustrating because you're there to get a good education and learn what you need to and move on. Weird fact about me, I was a vegetarian. I was raised a vegetarian on a mountain in Tennessee without electricity. So I'm very much a child of nature. My parents were very earthy and loved to be outside. And yeah, so now I eat chicken and seafood. I don't eat mammals. And I live in a normal house. Yes. That's all weird stuff. Okay. All right. Keys to being successful, read everything. Do not procrastinate. You need to memorize the vocabulary. There is a bunch of little terms, okay? There's tons of terms to memorize. If you want college credit for the class, you have to commit to studying and memorizing all the tiny details to be able to do. There are self-checks on the College Board that I will help you with that can be helpful to judge where you're at and how to do things. Vocabulary. We're going to emphasize vocabulary a lot because that's really what biology is a lot of vocabulary. I recommend getting 8 big gallon Ziploc bags and a bunch of note cards and write in color every word and definition and put it in your bag. All you need is 8 because there's only 8 units. And then when you're ready, take out that bag and study through all your vocabulary and then put it back in the bag. That'll help you with your midterm and it'll help you with the AP exam at the end of the year, okay? But that way it's pretty nice and tidy and you stay on top of your vocabulary, okay? All right, our AP exams are gonna use a lot of action verb. The AP Environmental used a lot of these things where they said describe, identify, explain, and make a claim. They're going to use a lot of those vocabulary on the AP Bio exam too. So I want us to get used to using those, especially that make a claim. We're going to do that a lot this year. Remember, you get 1 free STEM, which is a science, technology, engineering, and math. You get 1 free AP exam a year. So this could count as your free one. If you were also taking psychology, psychology is a great one too. So one of them is going to be paid and one of them is going to be free. But I would still take both. Okay. Yes.
It costs the same.
It costs the same. Yeah.
Wait, I don't think psychology, because it didn't cover me.
Oh, it didn't count as a STEM? Okay. Well, then maybe no psychology. Okay. That's good if I don't have to compete with Miss Bartow, then I'm doing better in my life. Because she pretty much is better than I am. She's been at it for a little bit longer. Okay. But if you have Hickman for one of the APs, I know that would go against each other. My, and I think I have it on the next slide. Okay, I'll have it on here. The exam is Friday in May at 8 a.m. I'll have to look it up again. But it is at 8 a.m. So school starts at 8:20. You can't show up at 8:20. You'll be late and you won't be able to come in. So it comes at 8 o'clock. So you'll have to get here probably about 7:30 to be able to take that exam. I know that's early, but I'm giving you plenty of notice. All right, the College Board is part of that checklist of that first day of school things to do. And we'll be signing up for 6th period. You guys will sign up for whatever period you're a part of and be in the College Board. We're going to be taking practice questions on there and doing a lot of stuff on there this year. All right, I've given you guys textbooks and told them how to get it. Okay, let's do a little activity. Okay, if you guys will get a scratch piece of paper or a notebook piece of paper, and you guys at home, if you will get a piece of paper for me, and to write some notes down. Okay. All right, you three are gonna go pick a flower over here in that cup. You will not do this one up here on the board. I'm giving you something real to look at. Okay? Right over here. Okay. Okay. So for you guys in the on the online, I'm giving the kids a plant like this to look at, but you guys can look off this picture, and your instructions are to do a quick write, maybe 30 seconds. Write down any kind of sciencey words or information that pertain to this image, this entity, whatever this thing is that's on the board. Okay. So you guys give me some words about this biological entity that's in front of you. Okay, any sciencey words you can think of. And be careful, there is water in there, so don't spill it. It'll make a big mud mess. Okay. All right, you guys online, if you would in your little chat room, everybody lists maybe one or two things that you wrote down about the biological entity in the picture. Okay, and then you guys, I want you to share with each other. So, or you can share out loud with me. What were some of the things we wrote down? Okay, just tell me what you wrote. Okay, the soil was moist. Good. Riley, write anything?
I don't know the word to it, but I know there's a word like it feeds on.
It feeds on, it makes its own energy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, it feeds itself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, anything written down? It's okay, I have dumb words. Say what?
There's one flower has the thing in the center.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Different number of petals on the flowers. Okay, good. Good. Okay. All right, good. Down here, they're saying that it's got chlorophyll. Some people said it was the photosynthesis. It's a producer. Somebody mentioned sugar down here. Those are all good ones, guys. Okay. All right, this activity is not to like catch you off guard. But I want us to think about the difference between AP and general biology. All right, in general biology, it will be totally fine to say that's a plant, it's green, there's dirt. Okay, maybe you talked about the leaves were short, maybe you gave some non-general descriptions, okay? In AP, we've got to use our scientific terms. I like photosynthetic. It's a flowering plant that lets you know it does sexual reproduction. All right, you could be able to see how many roots are coming out, or sorry, how many stems are coming out of the ground. Is this a single plant or does it spread? You could give me terms like a perennial or an annual. Do you guys know what yours are? What that plant is? There's an M. Ooh, no, that's a marigold. Okay. Anybody know what your all's picture was? Right? Did you see what theirs was? All right. Theirs was an African violet. Okay. So you guys had an African violet. You guys had an African violet and you all had a marigold. Both are perennials, which means they come back every year. Okay. Your all's, did you smell it? Smell your marigold? You what? It has a smell to it. If you touch its leaves and then smell your hands.
It smells it's the best.
It's not the best smell in the world, but there is certain odor about it. Urals are natural plant defensors. A lot of, natural insect defenses. Insects don't like marigolds. So oftentimes you plant marigolds on the sides of a garden or you plant them in your vegetable garden and they're going to keep bugs away. They're insecticides. Isn't that pretty cool? Bugs don't like that smell. The African violet that I have up here is from Africa. It's from Tanzania. And the leaves are very soft and kind of feathery. This guy needs to avoid direct sunlight. He cannot handle direct sunlight. Urals needs direct sunlight, which again makes it really good to plant in the middle of a garden. Pretty cool, right? Okay. So we want to make sure that we're giving details. We want to make sure we're giving measurements. Did you notice how many leaves were on each stem? You mentioned about how many petals were coming off the flowers, how many buds were coming off of each of the stems. All that stuff would be what we would call quantitative measurements. There's qualitative and then there's quantitative, okay? Qualitative is just based on the quality. Like, it's pretty, but I can't measure and graph it. Quantitative is what we really want to be hitting. We want to be able to measure it and graph it. We want to know height. We want to know leaf size. We want to know how many leaves are coming off. All those things to help us get better quantitative measurements, okay? And of course, details, all right? We mentioned the soil was being moist. The petals and leaves look full right now because I've just watered them. So that's that turgor pressure coming through each of the cells as they've plumped up and got the water coming in. This is a good indicator of not whether you're going to pass or fail AP Bio, but how hard you need to work in AP Bio, okay? And how we need to change our mindset to have detailed words, right? Okay. Make sure in our observations we're using multisensory. We're touching, we're smelling, don't taste, okay? Quantitative data. If you guys click there, there is a link for the formulas. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. All right, this is the math we have to know. Unlike AP Environmental, where it was, who knows? All right, this is an equation formula that we have to use, and this will be available on the AP exam for us to use. The vocabulary, every content has its own vocabulary, but biology is super heavy in vocabulary. And just letting you guys know, bee vision, bees see in blues and yellows. You all have yellow flowers with red, and their African violet was a bluish purple color. That's meant for bees. Oftentimes humans breed plants to get the color red because we like it and we think it's pretty. But bees can't see red, so they don't pollinate it. And so that's kind of taking away their natural habitat. Other things like red, like hummingbirds like red, if yours is going to be fed through a hummingbird, then that's fine. But if it's just created by people, red is not the best color. Okay? All right, the scientific method is up here. We will use that in our lab reports. Different things for AP. First of all, when you have a hypothesis, the easiest hypothesis, use an if-then scenario. If I add 8 hours of sunlight, then my plant will grow faster. If I add 8 inches of rainwater every day, then my plant will die because I've drowned it, okay? Whatever it is, an if-then gives us something very easy to measure. The null hypothesis, this is a new word for you guys. Null hypothesis means it's the opposite hypothesis, okay? So, for example, if I said giving 8 hours of sunlight every day will increase the plant's growth. The null hypothesis is if you give 8 hours of sunlight, there will be no difference. Does that make sense? Every one of our lab reports, we're going to have a hypothesis and a null hypothesis, and you'll have to write both down. You will always identify the independent and dependent variables. Okay? And you're going to identify that control group. So all that is going to be mentioned in our lab reports. Your first official lab is due in 2 weeks, and it's the animal behavior lab. It's in module 2. It's not even in this week's module. It's in module 2. And you're going to do it all on your own. You need to find bugs. You gotta find bugs. All right. I suggest roly-polies, which are also called sow bugs, which are also called pill bugs, which are also called potato bugs, which are also called isopods. All right, and it says this in the lab report and the whole lab setup. If you can't find them, find earthworms. Both are very easy to find. The pill bugs move a little faster than the earthworms. So if you're going to do something and you're like, oh, I wish this would happen quicker, pill bugs will move faster. Okay? All right, but that's going to be your first one to set up and do a lab report and complete on animal behavior. It is really not on animal behavior as much as it is on the scientific method. Okay? It is if I expose my pill bugs to a watery environment, they will move to the dry environment. Okay? If I put sunlight in my pill bugs environment, they will move to the dark environment. Okay? It is a simple scientific method. You're going to run your experiment and do it, and I will walk you through all this, okay? All right. I need to take this off. We're not using OpenStax because we got new textbooks. We don't have to worry about OpenStax. Okay? Okay. All right, guys. Our first unit is Chemistry of Life. This is chapters 2 and 3 in our textbook. Yeah. My notes will go a little bit into 4, which is the macromolecules, but really 4 and 5 are next week, okay? So you need to read 2 and 3, do the questions on the Pearson website, and then go over these notes. I'm not reading everything to you. I'm flying through it, okay? Ready? Okay. Every module will have reading. Make sure you read. Okay. I also have another website for you guys to use. The Georgia Virtual School is actually pretty good, and they have interactive modules on there if you want to click into it and be able to read more information. Sometimes I might even refer you to go read the information instead of me retyping it into our PowerPoint. Practice the questions. If you guys will open your books and go to chapter 2, okay? Just look into it. I'll give you one to look at. Omar, look at your book. At the end of every chapter, there are questions. Right here, they'll say, right here, it'll say go to this website, okay? So at the end of every chapter, they're going to have a little thing that says like, go to this website and answer questions. And those are like interactive questions that are really great. Some of my quiz questions that I make are based off of those questions. Okay, so they're pretty helpful to be able to answer those questions. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Okay. The answers to the textbook questions are in the back of the book. So use that to make sure you know what you're talking about. Okay. The first unit is on chemistry. So I think it's kind of important to think about how chemistry relates to the human body. All right. You guys should know from me, enzymes get messed up when they're not the right temperature. Okay. We did an enzyme lab and we've talked about enzymes before, but if you start messing around with the wrong temperature, your enzymes get messed up, which is pretty fascinating when we start talking about COVID. COVID, you're going to get a fever. What is the fever temperature for COVID? That I know I need to worry. Higher than that. 100.4. Okay, at 100.4, that's when our body is considered to have a fever. You'll have aches and pains. Your muscles will hurt because your muscles are not doing the processes that's supposed to happen. You're going to feel tired and worn out because your body is not doing the enzymatic activity it's supposed to. It has slowed down and made you do all the energy and all the work. So we know temperature is affected. The elements in our body, we have 92 elements on the periodic table of elements that occur naturally. 20% of those are needed inside of our body. So how are we supposed to get elements from the periodic table into our body? How does that happen? Food. We eat. Very good. We eat and we drink water. And we don't drink purified water. We drink normal water. Okay? Now, tap water will work. That's fine. All right? If it's uber filtered into like only just water, you're missing out on a lot of minerals that you need to just maintain your body. So we don't want to get things that are too filtered. Normal tap water is fine. Okay? We've talked about schnapps before. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur make up a lot of the stuff that we're living. We're going to do a lot of CERs this year. Remember, a CER is a claim, evidence, reasoning. And I'll give you more examples of how to do this later on. Right here, this is a graph, and it's a graph on cricket chirps. Let's try to say something true about the graph. What is true about the trend happening here? Okay, good. So as temperature increases, the amount of chirps increase. Good. You guys see that? Okay, good. So that would be something true. As the temperature increases, the chirps increase. I could also invert that and say as temperature decreases, the chirp speed decreases. Okay? My evidence to support that, I need to look and make an observation. I need to say, well, at 60 degrees, we're at 20 chirps, but at 80 degrees, we are at almost 40, about 40 chirps, okay? So that would be my evidence to support that as temperature increases. Now, reasoning why. As we get more sciencey, we will come up with better reasons why. This might require you to Google something and look it up. Why do crickets chirp faster at hotter temperatures? What guesses can you do? Anybody have an idea of why crickets would chirp faster at higher temperatures? A sign of stress? That's a good guess, right?
It's like a warm push. So if the temperature increases, does the air thinner?
It depends on humidity, so not necessarily. Okay. Nobody is thinking down here. All right. Do you want to know how crickets chirp?
Yeah.
They rub their legs down and they move their wings. So it's actually cooling them down.
Friction.
It's actually cooling them down. When they rub their legs faster, it's trying to cool their body down faster. So they're trying to cool themselves off because it's hot. It's just, they make more noise that way. So you guys will notice this. If you go outside in the evenings and you hear those cicadas going, if they're going really, really fast and chirping, it's pretty hot outside. If they're going pretty slow, it's pretty cool outside. All right. You can even count them and look at a graph like this and be able to calculate the temperature outside. Okay, you have 3 articles to read, and I'm going to go over that work for you guys to read. Each article is about a chemistry-related item. The first one is on anemia. And anybody know what anemia is a deficiency in? Iron. Very good. Very good. All right, the second one is on goiters. Anybody know what goiters is a deficiency on? On iodine. Okay.
Oh, I saw it.
Yep.
Because it happens in like those countries, like, because the US, we have really spits on it. At a
Yes, yes. Yeah, exactly. We're heavy with the salt. All right, and then arsenic is the third one about arsenic poisonings that occur naturally because people aren't purifying their water at all, and you're going to see arsenic poisoning. Okay? All right. This is just the normal chemistry stuff that you should already know. Okay? You know about the atom, about protons, neutrons, and electrons. You guys know about the periodic table of elements. Do you remember how they're set up by valence electrons? You guys remember what a valence electron is? That electron, the outer orbital, okay? If this guy just has 1 electron in the outer orbital, he's not really stable. He's going to want to bind with someone who has 7 electrons in the outer orbital. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to want to bind over here, okay? So that's why we see HCl, it's hydrochloric acid. It's one of those things that forms pretty easily. So anytime we're seeing that, these guys have 2 in their outer orbital, right? If it's just the first one, then that's full, but if not, they need more, right? Remember, you want 8 valence electrons to be full. This goes to who bonds with who when we're looking at the valence electrons. This is a list of common compounds that we're going to see throughout biology. And common bonds. In biology, we don't really talk about metallic bonds, but we do talk about ionic and covalent. Which ones are sharing electrons? Remember? Covalent, very good. Which ones is I gave up an electron and therefore have a charge? Ionic, very good, very good. All right, more bonding. There's hydrogen bonds, which is a weak bond that exists between hydrogen parts. Van der Waals is another one where you have slightly negative and slightly positive areas. All right, and then we go into organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is basically carbon-based molecules. Anytime we have an organic compound, it's going to have carbon. So is water considered an organic compound? No, it's not. It's very necessary for life, but it is not an organic compound because it doesn't have carbon. Right? Isomers have the same chemical formula, but they turn to a different shape whenever they work and come together. All right? This definitely matters whenever we're folding a protein to get into the cell membrane. If a protein is shaped differently, it won't go through the cell membrane correctly. So if a compound has a different shape, it's going to affect the medicine and the absorption in the body. Okay. When we have time, you're going to go back and you're going to read this part on Georgia Virtual Schools. Okay. All right. This is the information of the macromolecules. You guys remember we've covered this in general biology. This was the carbohydrates, the lipids, the protein, and the nucleic acid. You need to know what they do and how they work. Okay. Dehydration versus hydration. Dehydration is taking the water out. Hydration is adding a water in, hydrolysis. All right, whenever we do this, water is a buffer solution. And so by adding in water, we're gonna create a buffered solution. And that water, when it splits apart, is gonna create a hydrogen ion on that process, which is gonna create a more acidic environment. Okay. Right, there's that chart of the macromolecules. Some a little bit more about water. There's a whole big section of water in the book. You need to know water is polar, which means one part has a charge, a positive charge, and then one part has a negative charge. Okay. Water makes up 60% of the human body. Water sticks to surfaces because of that polarity. It absorbs a large amount of heat. So this is why it's important to keep our body hydrated. It's also why when we get dehydrated, we can get a fever because we need to keep that water in. It dissolves numerous substances surrounding it by keeping them apart. It expands when it freezes, was something else that was mentioned. It's a universal solvent. Okay. All right, I linked another Amoeba Sister video on water. I know it's cheesy, but those girls rock it with some of that simple stuff. Okay. Make sure you know the pH scale is based off of water. When water splits apart and we have hydroxide ions and hydrogen ions, the hydroxide ions make a strong base and the hydrogen ions make a strong acid. Remember, it goes in alphabetical order, acids and then bases. So one with an acid is super acidic. Neutral is here at 7, and then we go into a base. In order for our body to maintain homeostasis, we need to be at a 7. Pepto-Bismol is something that often is a buffer that we'll take when our stomach is acidic and it doesn't feel good, and it'll kind of calm our stomach down when it becomes more acidic. Right? All right, that's all the notes we're going to cover today. All right, let's go back into the classroom. All right, the rest is just going over the work that you guys have to do. You have a vocabulary term list to do. And you'll define the terms in here. You can also rewrite them on your note cards so that you have that list. The next is the article reflection. And you'll tell me about the articles that you read, the 3 on anemia and goiters and arsenic. This is something for CERs, for you to practice doing some more CERs, looking at graphs and typing in that claim, evidence, and reasoning. And the last thing is a quiz. The quizzes you guys can use your textbooks on. I don't have an answer key in it. We've been told to not put answer keys in because some kids are hackers and they've hacked our answer keys. So when everybody's done, I'll put the answer key in and then we'll get graded. So don't be alarmed. When you first get it, it'll say you have like 0 out of 15. You're going to go, oh my God, I failed it. No, you didn't.
One of the answer choices I was looking at, like, it just had like just an option 1 and that was it.
I need to fix that. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. All right, the only other thing you guys need to be aware of is the Animal Behavior Lab in Module 2, okay? You'll want to read through here and let me know if you have any questions. I would go ahead and start setting up some things or at least set up something outside to collect pill bugs. and I showed you how to do it. You can put a piece of wood down, you can put a piece of paper down, a piece of cardboard down, anywhere in the woods or on the side of your yard where it's a little shady, and they'll start to congregate underneath there. And then you can collect them. All you need is like 5. Okay? And you can be able to do that. All right, questions? Anybody got questions here? You can either talk or put in the comment box. I think they've muted me. Any questions here? Okay, thank you. I got one kid replied. Okay, then the rest of class, you can start working on everything. Okay? And you guys can go ahead and get busy working on everything too. Okay? I'm here. I'm going to turn the Google Meet off, but you can text me on Remind or ask me any questions. Make sure everybody signs up for the first day stuff. Do your Google Classroom, do your Remind code, get in the Pearson, and AP College Board. Make sure you guys have an AP College Board account. Okay? All right, guys. I'm going to have you guys get off and say goodbye. So go ahead and log off. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. There we go.